Lexus is a luxury vehicle division. The company was founded in 1989 by Eiji Toyoda, and to this very day, the company is still alive and healthy. So, how did it become so popular? Let's find out. The F1 project in the 1980s. The Lexus brand was created around the same time as Japanese rivals Nissan and Honda developed their Infiniti and Acura premium brands. The Japanese government imposed voluntary export restraints for the US market, so it was more profitable for Japanese automakers to export more expensive cars to the US. In 1983, Toyota chairman Eiji Toyoda issued a challenge to build the world's best car. The project, codenamed F1 Flagship 1, developed the Lexus LS 400 to expand Toyota's product line in the premium segment. The F1 project followed the Toyota Supra sports car and the premium Toyota Mark II models. Both the Supra and Mark II were rear-wheel drive cars with a powerful 7M GE or 7M GTE inline-six engine. The largest sedan in Toyota built at the time was the limited-time production 1960s vintage Toyota Century, a domestic, hand-built limousine and V8-powered model, followed by the inline-six engine Toyota Crown premium sedan. The Century was conservatively styled for the Japanese market and, along with the Crown, not slated for export after a restyle in 1982. The F1 designers targeted their new sedan at international markets and began development on a new V8 engine. Japanese manufacturers exported more expensive models in the 1980s due to voluntary export restraints negotiated by the Japanese government and U.S. trade representatives that restricted mainstream car sales. In 1986, Honda launched its Acura marque in the U.S., influencing Toyota's plans for a luxury division. The initial Acura model was an export version of the Honda Legend itself, launched in Japan in 1985 as a rival to the Toyota Crown, Nissan Cedra Gloria, and Mazda Luce. In 1987, Nissan unveiled its plans for premium brand Infiniti and revised its Nissan President sedan in standard wheelbase form for export as the Infiniti Q45, which it launched in 1990. Mazda began selling the Luce as the Mazda 929 in North America in 1988 and later began plans to develop an upscale marque to be called Amati, but its plans did not come to fruition. Toyota researchers visited the U.S. in May 1985 to conduct focus groups and market research on luxury consumers. During that time, several F1 designers rented a home in Laguna Beach, California to observe the lifestyles and tastes of American upper-class consumers. Meanwhile, F1 engineering teams conducted prototype testing on locations ranging from the German Autobahn to the U.S. roads. Toyota's market research concluded that a separate brand and sales channel were needed to present its new sedan, and plans were made to develop a new network of dealerships in the U.S. market. Brand development. In 1986, Toyota's longtime advertising agency, Saatchi & Saatchi, formed a specialized unit, Team 1, to handle marketing for the new brand. Image consulting firm Lippincott and Margulies was hired to develop a list of 219 prospective names. Vector, Verone, Chaparral, Calbarel, and Alexis were chosen as top candidates. While Alexis quickly became the front-runner, concerns were raised that the name applied to people more than cars, being associated with the Alexis Carrington character on the popular 1980s primetime drama Dynasty. As a result, the first letter was removed and the I replaced was replaced with a U to morph the name to Alexis. Theories of the etymology of the Lexus name have suggested it is the combination of the words luxury and elegance, and that it is an acronym for luxury exports to the U.S. According to Team 1 interviews, the brand name has no specific meaning and simply denotes a luxurious and technological image. Prior to the release of the first vehicle's database service, LexisNexis obtained a temporary injunction forbidding the name Lexus from being used because it might cause product confusion. The injunction threatened to delay the division's launch and marketing efforts. The U.S. Appeals Court lifted the injunction, deciding that there was little likelihood of confusion between the two products. The original Lexus slogan, developed after Team 1 representatives visited Lexus designers in Japan and noted an obsessive attention to detail, became the relentless pursuit of perfection. 3 firms were involved in the final phase of logo development: Saatchi & Saatchi, Molly Designs, and Hunter Corrigan Incorporated. The finished logo was a combination of 2 firms' final designs. The Lexus logo typeface came from Saatchi & Saatchi, and the L was Hunter & Corrigan Incorporated's design. According to Toyota, the automaker made some refinements so the logo would be easier to manufacture, rendering it using a mathematical formula. The first teaser ads featuring the Lexus name and logo appeared at the Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York auto shows in 1988. Launch. The F1 project was completed in 1989, involving 60 designers, 24 engineering teams, 1,400 engineers, 2,300 technicians, and 220 support workers, approximately 450 prototypes, and more than $1 billion in costs. The resulting car, the Lexus LS400, had a design that shared no major elements with previous Toyota vehicles, with a new 4.0L V8 gasoline engine and rear-wheel drive. The car debuted in January 1989 at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, and official sales of the vehicle began the following September at a network of 81 new Lexus dealerships in the U.S. The LS400 was sold along with the smaller ES250, a rebadged version of the Japanese market Toyota Camry prominent Toyota Vista. The launch of Lexus was accompanied by a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign. The LS400 was praised for quietness, well-appointed and ergonomic interior, engine performance, build quality, aerodynamics, fuel economy, and value. However, it was criticized by some automobile columnists for derivative styling and a suspension regarded as too compromising of handling for the ride comfort. In some markets, it was priced against mid-size 6-cylinder Mercedes-Benz and BMW models. It was rated by Car and Driver magazine as better than the higher-priced Mercedes-Benz 420 SEL and BMW 735i in terms of ride, handling, and performance. The LS400 also won motoring awards from automotive publications including Automobile Magazine and Wheels Magazine. Lexus quickly established customer loyalty, and its debut was generally regarded as a shock to existing luxury marques. BMW's and Mercedes-Benz US sales figures dropped 29% and 19% respectively, with BMW executives accusing Lexus of dumping in the market, while 35% of Lexus buyers traded in a Lincoln or Cadillac. In December 1989, Lexus initiated a voluntary recall of all 8,000 LS400s based upon 2 customer complaints over defective wiring and an overheated brake light. A 20-day operation to replace the parts on affected vehicles included technicians to pick up, repair, and return cars to customers free of charge, and also flying personnel and renting garage space for owners in remote locations. This response was covered in media publications and helped establish the marque's early reputation for customer service. By the end of 1989, a total of 16,392 LS400 and ES250 sedans were sold in the 4 months following the U.S. launch. Although sales had begun at a slower pace than expected, the final tally matched the division's target of 16,000 units for that year. Following initial models, plans called for the addition of a sports coupe along with a redesigned ES sedan. Growth and expansion in the 1990s. In 1990, during its first full year of sales, Lexus sold 63,594 LS 400 and ES 250 sedans in the US, the majority being the LS model. That year, Lexus also began limited exports to the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Canada, and Australia. In 1991, Lexus launched its first sports coupe, the SC400, which shared the LS 400's V8 engine and rear-wheel drive design. This was followed by the second generation ES 300 sedan, which succeeded the ES 250 and became Lexus's top seller. At the conclusion of 1991, Lexus had become the top-selling premium car import in the US, with sales reaching 71,206 vehicles. That year, Lexus ranked highest in J.D. Power and Associates studies on initial vehicle quality, customer satisfaction, and sales satisfaction for the first time. The marquee also began increasing US model prices past those of comparable American premium makes, but still below high-end European models. By 1992, the LS 400's base price had risen 18%. In 1993, Lexus launched the mid-size GS 300 sports sedan, based on the Toyota Aristo using the Toyota S platform from the Toyota Crown, which had sold for 2 years prior in Japan. The GS 300 was priced below the LS 400 in the Marquis lineup. That same year, Lexus became one of the first Marquis to debut a certified pre-owned program with the aim of improving trade-in model values. The Marquis introduced the second generation LS 400 in 1994. In May 1995, sales were threatened by the US government's proposal of 100% tariffs on upscale Japanese cars in response to the widening US-Japan trade deficit. SUVs were an exempt from the proposed sanctions. Normal sales operations resumed by late 1995 when the Japanese auto manufacturers collectively agreed to greater American investments and the tariffs were not enacted. In 1996, Lexus debuted its sport utility vehicle, the LX 450, followed by the third generation ES 300 sedan and the second generation of GS 300 and GS 400 sedans in 1997. The Marquis' plans for developing an SUV model had accelerated during the US-Japan tariff discussions of 1995. Lexus added the first luxury-branded crossover SUV, the RX 300, in 1998. The RX crossover targeted suburban buyers who desired an upmarket SUV but did not need the LX's off-road compatibility. It was particularly successful, eventually becoming the Marquis' top-selling model ahead of the ES sedan. The same year, Lexus made its debut in South America's most populous country when it launched sales in Brazil. In 1999, the IS was introduced, an entry-level sport sedan. Lexus also recorded its 1 millionth vehicle sold in the US market, being ranked as the top-selling premium car maker in the US overall. Global reorganization in the 2000s. In July 2000, Lexus introduced the IS 300 in North America, following global launch in 1999 as the IS 200 and the third generation LS 430. In 2001, the first convertible was introduced, as well as the SC 430 and a redesigned ES 300. The GX 470 midsize SUV debuted in 2002, followed by the second generation RX 330 in 2003. The following year, Lexus recorded its 2 millionth US vehicle sale, and the first luxury-branded production hybrid SUV, the RX 400H. This vehicle used Toyota's hybrid Synergy drive system that combined gasoline and electric motors. In 2005, Lexus completed an organizational separation from parent company Toyota, with dedicated design, engineering, training, and manufacturing centers working exclusively for the division. This effort coincided with Lexus' launch in its home market of Japan and expanded global launch of the brand in markets such as China. Executives aimed to increase Lexus sales outside of its largest market in the US. To accompany this expansion, next-generation Lexus vehicles were redesigned as global models for international release. In the European market, where Lexus had long faced struggling sales owing to low brand recognition, few dedicated dealerships, and 1990s import quotas, the marque announced plans to introduce hybrid and diesel powertrains, increase the number of Lexus dealerships, and expand operations in emerging markets such as Russia. Lexus's arrival in the Japanese market in July 2005 marked the first introduction of a Japanese premium car marque in the domestic market. New generation LS, IS, ES, GS, and RX models subsequently became available in Japan, along with the SC430, ending domestic sales of Toyota-branded models under the Celsior, Altezza, Wyndham, Aristo, Harrier, and Sawyer nameplates, respectively. The Altezza and Aristo were previously exclusive to Japanese Toyota retail sales channels called Toyota Vista Store. The Wyndham was exclusive to Toyota Corolla Store. The Celsior and Harrier were exclusive to the Toy Pet Store, and the Sawyer was previously available at both Toyota Store and the Toy Pet Store locations. Lexus models sold in Japan featured higher specifications and a price premium compared with their discontinued Toyota counterparts. Sales for the first half year were slower than expected, affected by the contraction of the domestic auto market and price increases, but improved in subsequent months with an expanded lineup. Through the mid-2000s, Lexus experienced sales successes in South Korea and Taiwan, becoming the top-selling import make in both markets in 2005. The marque also sold well in the Middle East, where it ranked first or second among rivals in multiple countries, and in Australia, where Lexus reached third in luxury car sales in 2006. Division executives in 2006 announced an expansion goal from 68 countries to 76 worldwide by 2010. By the end of the decade, this expansion resulted in official launches in Malaysia and South Africa in 2006, Indonesia in 2007, Chile in 2008, and the Philippines in 2009. Hybrids and F models. In 2006, Lexus began sales of the GS 450h V6 hybrid performance sedan and launched the 4th generation LS line, comprising both standard and long wheelbase V8 LS 460 and LS 460L and hybrid LS 600h and LS 600HL versions. The 5th generation ES 350 also debuted in the same year. The LS 600HL subsequently went on sale as the most expensive sedan ever produced in Japan. By the end of 2006, Lexus's annual sales had reached 475,000 vehicles worldwide. In January 2007, Lexus announced a new F-Marque performance division, which would produce racing-inspired versions of its performance models. The ISF made its debut at the 2007 North American International Auto Show, accompanied by a concept car, the LFA. In October 2007, Lexus entered the Specialty Equipment Market Association show in the US for the first time with the ISF and announced its F-Sport performance trim level and factory-sanctioned accessory line. Increased emphasis on sporty models was an effort to target rivals from Mercedes-Benz, AMG, and BMW's M divisions. Models such as the SC400 and GS400 had received favorable reactions from sport luxury buyers. Most Lexus models had been characterized as favoring comfort over sporty road feel and handling, compared with European rivals. By the end of 2007, Lexus annual worldwide sales had surpassed 500,000 vehicles, and the marque ranked as the top-selling premium import in China for the first time. The largest sales markets in order of size for 2007 were the US, Japan, the UK, China, Canada, and Russia. In 2008, amidst the late 2000s recession and a weakened world car market, global sales fell 16% to 435,000, with deadlines in markets such as the US and Europe, where deliveries fell by 21% and 2.70% and 27.5% respectively. In 2009, the marque launched the HS250H, a dedicated hybrid sedan for the North America and Japan, the RX 450h, the second generation hybrid SUV, replacing the earlier RX 400h, and later that year debuted the $375,000 US dollars production LFA exotic coupe. In late 2009, citing higher sales of hybrid models over their petrol counterparts, Lexus announced plans to become a hybrid-only marquee in Europe. By the end of the decade, Lexus ranked as the fourth largest premium car make in the world by volume, and was the number one selling premium car marquee in the US for 10 consecutive years. Recent developments from 2010s to 2020s. In 2010, Lexus underwent a gradual sales recovery in North America and Asia as the marquee focused on adding hybrids and new model derivatives. Sales in the US held steady despite the 2009 to 2010 Toyota vehicle recalls, several of which included Lexus models. The ES350 and certain IS models were affected by a recall for potentially jamming floor mats, while parent company Toyota bore the brunt of negative publicity amid investigations over its series of product recalls and problem rates per vehicle. The redesigned GX460 was also voluntarily recalled in April 2010 for a software update, one week after Consumer Reports issued a recommendation not to buy the SUV, citing a possible rollover risk following the slow stability control response to a high-speed emergency turn. Although the publication knew of no reported incidents, the GX460 received update stability control software. In late 2010 and early 2011, Lexus began sales of the CT200H, a compact four-door hybrid hatchback designed for Europe in multiple markets. Sales of lower displacement regional models were also expanded, beginning with the ES240 in China, followed by the RX270. Japan, Russia, and Taiwan were among markets which received model variants intended for reduced emissions or import taxes. In March 2011, the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami caused severe disruption to Lexus's Japan-based production lines, hindering the marquee's near-term sales prospects. Lexus's U.S. executive stated that due to vehicle shortages amidst close competition from BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi, the marquee would not remain the country's top-selling premium car brand. Cumulative sales results for 2011 indicated a 14% sales drop in the US market, along with sales increases of 40% and 27% in Europe and Japan respectively, for a global sales total of 410,000 units. Lexus's streak of 11 consecutive years as the best-selling luxury marquee in the US ended that year, with the title going to BMW, followed by Mercedes-Benz. While 45% of Lexus sales in the US in 2011 relied upon the RX luxury crossover SUV, rival Mercedes-Benz best-selling offering was the E-Class mid-luxury sedan, which commands considerably higher prices. Subsequently, Toyota chairman Eiji Toyoda vowed to restore passion to the marquee and further increase its organizational independence, admitting that, back then, we did not regard Lexus as a brand, but as a distribution channel. As a result of Toyota's organizational changes, Lexus senior managers report directly to the chairman for the first time in the marquee's history. In January 2012, the marquee began sales of the fourth generation GS line, including GS350 and GS450H variants, as well as a lower displacement GS250 model for select markets. In April 2012, the sixth generation ES line, including ES350 and ES300H variants, debuted at the New York International Auto Show. In April 2014, Lexus unveiled the 5-seater NX crossover. The vehicle features the very first for a Lexus vehicle, a turbocharger. Its nomenclature is denoted as the 200T. In August 2014, Toyota announced it would be cutting its Lexus spare parts prices in China by up to 35%. The company admitted the move was in response to a probe foreshadowed early in the month by China's National Development and Reform Commission of Lexus Spare Parts Policies as part of an industry-wide investigation into what the Chinese regulator considers exorbitantly high prices being charged by automakers for spare parts and after-sales servicing. In March 2016, Lexus announced that it will be producing a new flagship vehicle, the two-door LC500. The vehicle will be produced for late 2017 in a V8 version, putting out 467 horsepower. The LC500H, a V6 hybrid variant, could potentially become available in late 2017 or early 2018. In April 2019, Lexus announced that a rebadged limousine version of the third generation Alphard would be sold as the Lexus LM. It was also announced that Lexus would finally enter the market in Mexico in 2021 with some of the other vehicles in their lineup. In October 2019, Lexus announced that it will be launching the brand's first all-battery electric vehicle in 2020. And there's the history of Lexus. How did it become so popular? Well, I think with the success of Toyota and basically I guess becoming a company out of Toyota, I think that's how they became very popular. And then Lexus just kind of went on to be its own brand, and that's how they became very popular and are still alive and healthy to this very day. But anyways, I think this is where I'm going to end off this video. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe. I can do videos every single day. And also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell on my second channel. My second channel will be down in the below. And if you guys like to follow me on social media, all of my social media accounts will be linked down in the below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!